What therapies outside of oral medications do you see helpful to men with sexual function concerns?
So, pretty much everyone, if you don't live under a rock, has heard of Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra. And I know a lot of guys on this forum have heard a lot about daily low dose Cialis or tadalafil, which has a lot of great benefits to it. So I won't go in too much on that because that's already been discussed thoroughly. Those are great kind of spot check treatment options, I think, but not looking at the underlying cause of vascular dysfunction. I think in my mind about four main causes of sexual performance issues: hormonal, side effects of other medications, vascular, and then psychosomatic. And depending on who you ask, you will get different answers on which one of those is most common, for everybody. I see that it's usually a combination of a few of those things. So most guys want to know why, if your testosterone's optimized, why are you still having erectile dysfunction issues? If you look at what other medications they're on, their history, their age, ask them about things like morning erections. Are they able to get as good of erections by themselves as they are with a partner? That can help you rule out if there's a psychosomatic reason, performance anxiety, or if you don't like your partner, something like that. So when you think about if it's more likely a vascular issue, that sometimes does improve over time when you have the hormones optimized and you're dieting and exercising right for a consistent period of time. But that can take a while. And that's why a lot of guys will use the daily Cialis, but sometimes that's not enough either. So the other therapies that I really like, kind of starting with the most non-invasive, I guess, there is vacuum pump devices. These you can think about as penile rehabilitation. I know everyone has Austin Powers come to mind when they initially hear vacuum pump device, but you got to kind of get over that mental hurdle and think of it as going to the gym. So if you previously had really good morning erections and you don't anymore, morning erections is like your penis going to the gym every day. It's preparing for the real thing. And if you're not getting those anymore, then you're having that loss of exercise, loss of blood flow, which is an important function. So the vacuum pump device helps to mimic that activity. It helps get blood flow into the tissue, which is going to improve the quality of erections when you're actually attempting to get an erection. Doing that 2 or 3 times a week, using a device that ideally has a gauge on it so that you don't overdo it, I think can be a really good at-home tool for people. Um, Outside of that, the next thing that I would mention is wave therapy. Wave therapy is using acoustic sound waves to break up plaque inside the vessels, and it actually causes a little bit of micro trauma. So it stimulates the body to bring in growth factors and healing factors so that you can repair and heal those blood vessels that may have had damage with age as well. Um, the complementary treatment to that is PRP. You can think about these both as by themselves or in conjunction. I really like using them both together, doing 6 to 12 sessions of wave therapy and then 1 or 2 procedures of PRP. Because if you think about the wave therapy as like getting all the weeds out of your garden, and then the PRP like planting the new seeds for new growth, that's how it's working in your body. The PRP is triggering your body to have that better growth, healing, and repair to happen, where guys are really noticing a lot of improvement from wave therapy in sensation, firmness, blood flow, and then the PRP builds on that, and you can potentially see some improvement in size like girth as well.
You do present them to men in the order that you just presented it. You start with the least invasive.
Not necessarily. I guess it depends on the situation. The vacuum pump device always goes alongside PRP. So if they're doing PRP, they're going to do a vacuum pump twice a day for 6 weeks following their PRP injections. This is going to help tremendously with the benefits. With both wave therapy and PRP, the results are not immediate, so they do take some time for you to see those results. But looking at our patient outcomes, we've done a lot of internal review of those things. We use the SHIM score, which is looking at the degree of sexual dysfunction. The patient is grading that on a questionnaire. And prior to wave therapy, if they were at moderate for erectile dysfunction, we're getting a whole category of improvement, meaning they're going to mild erectile dysfunction. So then, they could just add on doing more wave therapy to try to get further improvement. Sometimes they're happy with where they're at. But you don't have to go forward for everybody. That scares a lot of guys away thinking about injecting some penis, but there are a lot of benefits to PRP.
Sure. And do you do this next to the oral medication, I guess?
Cialis is great to use alongside the PRP, the wave therapy, and vacuum pump because it's going to help with that penile rehab. It's going to keep improving the blood flow, and oftentimes they can get off of it if they want to. Many guys like it, so they stay on it. But you definitely can use any of the oral medications, even the higher dose as needed alongside of these. Most guys doing these regenerative therapies have the goal of eventually using less medication, or they're doing it because they're seeing that they're not getting as good of results as what they used to their oral medication. So at some point they're going to max out on the dose of Viagra, and they're like afraid that it's just not going to work. A big misconception I see though is that guys are coming in once they're at that point and they think, okay, now I have to do something that's like more extreme and do this wave therapy. I see that wave therapy works best if you have mild issues, or if you're doing it preventatively. I think that's great too, because you're getting in before it becomes a major problem, versus if somebody already has very severe ED and you can't really get an erection at all, it's going to take a lot more time, effort, and more procedures or sessions of wave therapy for you to actually get better results.
Mm-hmm. Are all men that come to you with sexual dysfunction, are they all low testosterone or not necessarily?
Well, if you're using the standard guideline definition of low testosterone, then no, they're not all low testosterone. But there are some people, I think what you're getting at is everyone on testosterone treatment or pursuing testosterone treatment if they're doing these sexual treatments. And usually we almost always have somebody do a full lab panel with us and do a full consultation with hormones as the first step. There are some guys who refuse it, and they've had their testosterone checked with their primary and they have no interest in exploring hormone treatments, and can't be convinced otherwise. And so they certainly can just pursue sexual health treatments. As we all know that there are a lot of people with normal ranges of testosterone that when we give them a little bit more, they don't have any sexual dysfunction. So that's always the first thing that we check off the box, is making sure their hormones are optimized and their lifestyle habits are ideally at least being worked on. The people who are smokers and, on 5 different medications that might be impacting their results to this, it's tough because, you want them to see benefits to everything that they're doing. So in many cases, I don't even recommend these treatments to someone who's in that situation. If they're not in a generally good, healthy place, they might not see a whole lot of results. A good example of what I mean by this is I had a guy that came in to do PRP for the first time. And he swore up and down that he was following a really good, healthy diet and exercise, and he had no idea why he has erectile dysfunction. And, he's just so stressed out about it. And we drew his blood, and I came in to do it. And I said, I'm really unsure if we should do this. Your PRP, it looks like milk. It looks really bad. Like, what did you eat before you came in here? He's like, oh, I eat really healthy. And eventually he told me he ate a sleeve of chocolate chip cookies because he was stressed out before coming in. And then it made him even more stressed that I told him his blood looked terrible. But you're not possibly going to get great results from doing PRP when you have a really bad sample. It's your own blood product that's going back in. So it should be this like golden yellow color, almost looks a little bit like urine. Shouldn't be super cloudy. And if you're injecting a bad product, you're not going to get good results.